And we are alive. The carousel is up and active with Mr. Moist Audio. Brain bleed for the win. We'll see if I agree or if either of us agree. Just my 2 cents with me, as always. My second favorite YouTube channel behind only just my 2 cents, according to Pablo Diablo. So fair enough. I'll take second place. That works for me. But coming off of a very, very strong week last week, I believe me and just my 2 cents agreed on almost every fight anyways. So I missed one fight on the night. Unfortunately, it wasn't the Zhang Kennedy and Njoku, probably on a list that I'm going to have to preface before I break down his next 5 fights. So I made several bets on Kennedy. I was wrong all the way around on that fight. I believe that's one of the fights we disagreed on, actually. So just my 2 cents got that one, I believe. But before I slander the name and his picks any further, just my 2 cents. How you doing?
I'm good, brother. How are you? It is great to be back here. Shout out to you and everyone in the chat. And actually, no, I was with you and at Kennedy Heartbreak City, man.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Where did we disagree on last week? Do you remember?
I can't remember, dude. I feel like we were like in lockstep with most of them, which is like
went 11-1 or whatever it was. Yeah, it was a good week.
Yeah.
You there?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you dropped out for a second, then you came back.
Sorry. Let me
You're fine.
Let me check my connections and stuff.
No, you're good. But yeah, it was a good week coming off a couple good weeks, honestly. We had the Zhang a couple weeks ago. Last week, missing one fight overall. Contender series ended up going 4-5 on my picks. Fernando was not the one I was looking for, so fortunately, I don't get to talk about my Fernando parlays going into Saturday because it did not happen there. But we're starting out 125. You good, 2 cents?
Yeah, I think so. Can you hear me now? That should be better.
You're good. Yeah, awesome. I just want to make sure.
Sorry about that. Thank you.
Before I started this fantastic fight, before I start out, you're gonna be hearing a lot of pass on this card because there's not a lot I'm looking to bet on here. And if you think I'm looking to bet Juliana Miller or Luana Santos, you're incorrect. 2 fighters who just are good grapplers, I would say, and not great at the rest of the mixed martial arts. Both a little bit longer and taller for the division. Luana's 5'6", and she's 23 years old. All of her wins coming by submission or decision. A couple of her decision wins really not – or her last decision win over Wesca Souza. Went back and watched that. Not that impressed with it. Or Bertia Rodriguez, she got the submission with a standing guillotine or with a guillotine choke, but still, I don't think she's going to have that success with the grappling against Juliana Miller. Juliana Miller is a good grappler. She's grappled against some of the best black belts as well. And in the octagon, she uses it pretty well. Veronica Hardy fight makes her untrustable, however. And Luana Santos, I do think, is more likely to come in this fight improved and a better fighter, even though Juliana Miller is only 27 years old. I just think that Luana, I guess, would be the side. I want nothing to do with this fight, however, because I don't think either one's great on the feet. And I do think on the ground, they're going to cancel each other out. So you're getting 2 grapplers, probably a split decision. I get anybody taking crazy eyes and the plus money, but I'll take the unknown and keep my Brazilian hate underneath my bones here with Luana Santos. No bet, no interest at all in this fight. Honestly, it probably goes to the cards.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I think you pretty much broke it down perfectly. For some reason, I'm going to pick Miller just for the fuck of it, but I don't feel super strongly about it. You mentioned the split decision. I think that's probably what's going to happen. I'm going to take Miller, though, just because I think if she's the one, big if, but if she's the one having success and she's the one on top, I trust her a little bit more to lay the lumber, and if she's having it her way to kind of get it done. But it could just cancel out, dude. And if this is on the feet, this is going to be a stinker. If this is 3 rounds of these two just like clinch and cage fighting, it's going to be ugly. But yeah, I'll go with Miller. Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't think Miller has any wrestling to get it down to the ground. We saw I watched the Jenna Bishop fight back, unfortunately. And Jenna Bishop, a 36-year-old flyweight at the time, was up 2 rounds on Santos. Santos now down at strawweight, or this is still at flyweight. My mistake. I thought this was at strawweight. That's how interested in it. Yeah, I don't really, rate her that highly, but I really don't rate Juliana Miller highly, especially after losing to Veronica Hardy the way she did. That's just untrustable to me. So minus 150 if I'm thinking about doing the chalky white parlay to start out, Luana's in it, I guess. So we're going to disagree to start out after going 11-1, basically agreeing last week. So good strategy. Real quick, not that I care with this fight because, again, I'm not going to be betting it much unless Santos gets, plus money or something like that, just because I don't think Juliana Miller should be the favorite here. I do think Santos at 23 out of Brazil is getting a little bit better, but neither one's faced an incredible level of competition, but Miller's faced a better level of competition, so there is that. She's also been in the octagon, but Santos looks like a little money has come in on her. Again, these weird lines from DraftKings, minus 162 on Santos, but again, no bet at all. The over's at minus 230, so Split City is coming your way most likely. So next fight, this got put together last minute, but it's actually a pretty decent fight. Be like a main event on a Dana White's Contender Series, but no, I like Damon Blackshear. He's a good wrestler, very high cardio, good work rate, and he's going against a guy in Jose Johnson who doesn't have good cardio, struggles to make the weight. He got fired from the UFC and now rehired because they needed somebody, so he's making weight on very short notice if he does make weight. Probably won't if this is fought at a catch weight. I don't think it really changes much in my opinion here. Damon Blackshear is good enough to get takedowns on a guy like Jose Johnson who gives up a lot of takedowns. He just does. He's very dangerous on the feet. He has a decent bottom game, but against someone like Blackshear, that won't be an issue. The grappling, I do think that he could spark Damon, but Damon's never been finished. He's gone to a decision in all his losses. And he's faced some good level of competition. 29-28 here. He is going to be a little shorter, but he's going to be closing the distance anyways, and he has a reach advantage on Jose Johnson. I don't see any reason to really be interested in Jose Johnson. I think Damon Blackshear puts on a clinic. Isn't a big finisher, so don't really have much of a thoughts on method of victory there. Probably goes to a decision, but yeah, I like Damon Blackshear. I think he gets it done. And on a weekend of untrustables, I would say he's a little more trustworthy than most on this card. That's how bad it is.
Yeah, dude, this is a weird one. I actually I think yesterday knew that this fight existed, so I didn't really tape it at all. I'm going to pick Blackshear as well. You look at these guys' records, and it's like they've both fought UFC level competition, but I just think Damon's has been ever so slightly higher. Like decision losses to Sabatini and Basharat, like that's nothing to hang your head over too much. I like what you said about the wrestling. I think he does probably put on a wrestling clinic, and if he doesn't get the finish, win a pretty clear decision. So give me Blackshear here.
Yeah, I agree. There's no line available yet, but I anticipate Blackshear is going to be minus 180. I would say.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we'll see if a little money comes in on Jose Johnson. I just don't like making weight on short notice when you already got fired for not making weight on normal notice. Black sub is what Moise is saying. I don't know how Blackshear lost to Moutinho, couldn't find the fight. Yeah, exactly. It was mostly on the feet. I would anticipate against Moutinho, so that's the only way he's going to beat someone like Damon. So I guess that's how Jose Johnson wins this fight, but hasn't shown that takedown defense yet. I don't think he starts all of a sudden. Next fight, yeesh. This is a bad fight. It's just not a good fight. Don't bet this fight. I don't care how much someone wants to tell you Amarim's this sub wizard, you know. Sorry, Moise wasn't directed at you. But yeah, at the same point, Montserrat has only shown that she can beat women who don't know how to defend a scarf hold. And I honestly think that Jacqueline knows how to defend a scarf hold. So that's all I have to ask myself in a Montserrat Ruiz fight. Can you defend a scarf hold? Cheyenne couldn't. That's why I picked Montserrat in that fight. And Jacqueline can, so I'm going to take Jacqueline to win and sub this girl out because I just think Montserrat Ruiz is garbage. So Amarim gets to fight in her realm, which is in the grappling, and wins by submission. I'm not putting $1 on this fight, so that's my pick.
Dude, we are juxtaposed again, man, on a low-level women's fight. What a perfect, like, fitting contrast where it's just like we're just like on the same page, and now it's just these low-level shit women's fights. Yeah, dude, I'm actually going with old Monster Rat here. It's not something I feel very confident in. It's really just the number. I don't think she should be the favorite. To be clear, I do not think she should be the favorite. I just don't like it's, and the line's not that off. It's just a little heavy, and I just don't think much of Amarim. Like, I rate Amanda Lemos much higher than Sam Hughes. Dude, Sam Hughes is a fucking jobber. So, like, I'm not like, oh man, you tough loss to Sam Hughes on your debut. It's like that's a bad loss to me. So
and her other best win is Loveth Young, which if you don't know about Loveth Young, there's a reason you don't know about Loveth Young.
Right.
She's faced nobody.
Yeah, I agree.
This is her toughest test to date, which is sad.
Sure. But I do agree that like the smart thing to do should probably be passed because Monster Rat is like she's kind of a one-trick pony. Like she's got the head and arm throw, judo flip into scarf hold. And like you said, if you can defend it, like I could see Amarim just be like, nah, I got your back now instead. But I can like, so it's not heavy. She's like the fighter that I've bet on the lightest. But yeah, I'm going to take a stab on the dog, but not incredibly confidently.
Yeah, I mean, plus 195. I used to have a rule back in the day. It was if it's plus 200 on low-level women, just bet the woman blind, and you made plenty of money on the year.
Yeah.
If this gets a plus 200, just put a little wager down on it. I don't blame you. Jacqueline Amarim, you are not in any parlays ever. You're not in anything, and you're a minus 238 favorite. I don't get it.
Like people will tell you like left, right, and center about how good Sam Hughes is and how good her losses are. Sam Page is a jabroni to me.
So you lose to Sam Hughes by unanimous decision. You're a minus 240 favorite in your next.
Make that make sense. It doesn't.
It makes none. Amarim has very questionable cardio as well, like beyond questionable. So she'll look like she's in the better shape here, and I wonder if that influences some people to better. But Monster Rat probably has better cardio, which is sad too. So, yep. Return of the Monster Rat. We're all excited for the Monster Rat. This next fight, Josh Parisi and Martin Booty. This is when I just knew this card sucked. Because I am lining up to bet a minus 205 Martin Booty the other day. He's now up to minus 220. He's facing Josh Parisian, man. It's simply that. He is a better version of Josh Parisian, which is not a compliment really in any slight regard. I just think he has slightly better pace, better ability to pressure, good knees, good enough striking to get into the clinch and then into the wrestling where Parisian's going to just struggle. Look at how he made Jamal Pogues look. He made me trust Jamal Pogues. So, and just Parisian overall, it's been the same recipe throughout his career, and everybody's been pretty successful in getting the takedowns. He probably averages like 6 takedowns giving up a fight, honestly. So I think that Booty ends up doing the same. Maybe puts him away, but probably goes the distance. But either way, I think Martin Booty's going to win a pretty clear decision here at worst, and hopefully knocks him out early. And Martin Booty is one of my few parlay pieces on the day just because I was desperate. So Martin Booty is my pick. And, I'm gonna say that he KOs him, but it might be wishful thinking, and I'm not betting it.
Dude, how fucked is this card that Martin Booty is a parlay piece? And I really think he is, dude. I'm with you. I think Parisian is on this fight card and in the UFC purely by default. Like, we just need to fill a fight card. We need a fight on this card.
Weird.
Like, you can't even say, like, he's just barely filling a roster spot. He is a warm body, and that's fucked up because Boudet is not really that good. He's just better than Parisian to me. So, like, that's really messed up. Like, Martin Boudet is a parlay piece. Like, what kind of a world are we living in, gentlemen? But that's where we are in 2023.
I'm gonna say that about one other fighter on the entire card. So that's how that's like I have a 2-piece parlay that is like where I'm putting my money, and the rest of it is very, very non-committed.
I really think if like the heavyweight division was a little bit better and like a little bit deeper, that Parisian would not be seeing. Like,
decision is plus 170. That's so gross.
He is solely there to like, he's a stepping stone for the lower levels. Like, he can't even get fights against some like middling dudes anymore because like they're just like, no, I'm not going to fight down that much to Parisian. He can only like, this is a really, really bad that Boudet. I'm that confident in him, but like, yeah, I think I'm with you, dude. He's a parlay piece. That's fucked.
And it's now at minus 220. So at this point, tread lightly. Like, either way, like, this card should not be getting a high amount of your dollars. If it is, then you're just better at this than me. Congratulations. All right. Francis Marshall versus Isaac Dulgarian. Isaac Dulgarian hasn't fought in almost 2 years. He's fought almost nobody who has a win. The guy he fought in his last fight was 40 years old and 6'3" and weighed in at 143 for a featherweight fight. First fucking punch stunned him. He got his back like he did everybody, and then it was a nice ground and pound finish. Then he didn't fight for a year and a half. I don't really know what to do with that. He's a 5'7" power puncher who can wrestle, and it's worked and within 2 minutes in all his fights. So kind of sets the level of competition he's fighting. Francis Marshall doesn't throw sometimes, as we saw in his last fight with Gomes. I like Gomes more than most people. I rate him higher than most people. I thought he had a better chance in that fight, and I did actually bet him because he was like a plus 200 dog. But at the same point, Marshall's still young in his career, had a good camp as well. I think he's going to make the corrections on the activity and the volume. And I just think he's the better MMA fighter. He's more well-tested. I don't know shit about Isaac, but I don't like, other than what I've seen with his 3 fights, which last like 4 seconds, but I don't like the level of competition he's faced. I don't like him not fighting for a year and a half. I don't like that. It just kind of seems like he's a bully and a hammer. We don't know how he is as a nail, and we've seen this quite a bit. And I just think Marshall, he's longer, he's better here, and he's better at MMA. I would not be betting him very much, though, so because I really can't trust the mental game. So give me Francis Marshall here, and most likely, I don't know, I'm going to use Lou Betcha's logic here, and he's never been finished. He's undefeated, so I'm picking decision. And I'm picking a lot of overs on this card because I think these are low-level fights where there's not a significant difference in the skills of the two guys. And here there's just a lot of I don't knows that I'm saying because what the hell has Isaac Dulgarian been doing? And Francis Marshall, what is he even? So I'll take Marshall by decision, not putting any dollars on it. It'll probably make it to a Zhongli parlay because that's how bad this card is, but I'll see if I can avoid it.
I am with the fire marshal as well, my friend. I just don't exactly know what I'm getting with Dulgarian. I remember when I saw that name, I was like, ooh, and he's an underdog. I was like, is this deja vu? And then I was like, oh, I thought he was a live dog against Dan Argueta. Like, okay, now he's fighting Marshall. Like, all right. And then I like kind of went back and thought about it. And like, I think Marshall is the side here. I do think when the competition starts to ramp up, we could see Marshall kind of get audited a little bit. But I do think this is a pretty good bounce back spot for him. Like you, I rate Gomez higher than some people. And I think that's a little bit tougher of a stylistic matchup. Like Bulgarian's a smaller dude, if I'm not mistaken. And
Gomez is much more well proven. He's 6'2" or 6'1".
like a decently credentialed striker. Like
Bulgarian's a 5'7" power puncher with wrestling who's faced nobody.
Right. And the question marks about his cardio, it's not like I can definitely say he's a front runner, but like I can't say that he's not. We just don't know. And I think he will get pushed against Marshall, who I think is probably going to be the better striker. And, the power, I don't fucking know. But Marshall to me is a little bit more tested. Only a few more fights, but he's already had a few in the UFC. So give me Marshall here. And yeah, I think if it's still under minus 200, like I was looking to parlay Marshall.
He's at minus 160 right now.
Yeah, I mean that's I guess that's still not that bad considering like what else.
He fought all his fights at the great FAC. That is also home of David Onama. So I mean they've had good featherweight champions come from there. So
yeah.
And the over is something I'm interested in at plus 130. I think that could be not a bad spot, but at the same point, like both guys are decent finishers, and Isaac's never gone past 2 minutes. So
yeah, I guess it depends on how quick Isaac does or doesn't gas.
Yeah, speaking of gassing, Terrence McKinney back on short notice. What can go wrong here? I'll tell you right now, I'm picking most fighters against him when you give me the line you gave me to open up. I'm not a big earlier opening line person. I don't do it often. I saw Mike Breen at plus 285 when this opened. I decided with no tape study, no thought at all, I'm taking a shot on Mike Breeden. Then I did my tape study after, which is always a smart way to go about your betting, is make your bet and then research it. And I'm still not, freaking out over the Mike Breeden pick here because I do think that Terrence McKinney is going to go for the wrestling, go for the submission, and I do think you may be able to get a better number on Breeden live, but I also think there's a chance that this cut in back-to-back months is not very smart for Terrence McKinney, and I do think that Mike Breeden's boxing and his speed could, help him. His hand speed wise could help him. So I'm taking a shot on my plus 285 dog simply because Terrence McKinney just took quite a bit of damage and does damage to himself, I think, making these turnarounds the way he does. And I think that Breeden can land the strikes and put him away in round 2 or later. So round 1 live from McKinney. After that, it's all Mike Breeden. So gambling with my plus 285, taking Mike Breeden.
Let's fucking go. I am tailing this bet. I did tail this bet earlier in the week. I think I bet it. Let me see. I bet this on Monday. So I didn't get it at quite as good of odds. But to me, McKinney just doesn't seem to fucking learn from anything.
No.
He doesn't learn how to pace himself. He doesn't learn how to like make adjustments. He definitely doesn't know how to make adjustments mid-fight. The cardio is still a question mark. He keeps taking these just fight after fight after fight. It's like it's the definition of insanity almost with him. Like he keeps doing the same shit and just expecting something.
He's already died once.
Oh yeah, and yeah, ask him about him literally dying before. I'm sure he'll tell you because he hasn't told it before a million times. So yeah, man, I'm with Breeden. I tailed Breeden, or tailed on Breeden. Would I do this if it was a Terrence McKinney full camp? Probably not, but it's not. It's a quick turnaround. He did take damage in the last fight. Why am I all of a sudden going to think that another weight cut is going to be better for him or help his cardio whatsoever? Maybe Breeden gets killed in the first round, but if he doesn't, I think it's probably McKinney that gets folded up again. And that's I just feel like he's doing a disservice to himself by just he's doing the same things that have gotten him in trouble before. And I think it bites him in the ass again, dude. So yeah, I'll take
the guy from Marathon MMA Gym against McKinney. That sounds
Yeah, dude.
like McKinney just reading that. That's my breakdown. McKinney reading that name made him tired. Either way, I got my number. I stuck with it. I did that with a few dogs on this card. Minus 278 on Mr. McKinney now, plus 225 on the breedster, Mike Breeden. Moise is disgusted with us. Hopefully he didn't leave us to go over to Liam's channel yet. Hang on
Dude,
a little
I'm disgusted
longer.
with myself for making that bet, but like it just felt like it had to be made.
It had to be done. We had shekels to spend on this card. Let's do it. McKinney has lost his mind, wants to fight Ian Gary. This is what I'm saying.
Yeah, makes me wish hearing that makes me wish I had bet Breeden sooner.
Yeah,
and
like
caught that line.
Exactly. Like I don't like. Moise says switch to Mike Breeden. Thank you. Like, welcome to the club. I'm so glad this is our featured prelim, and I didn't realize these fights were back to back because your boy has a bet on another plus 285 on the card. And it's JP motherfucking buys. I'm sorry, but Marcus McGee is a fraud. He's not good. And winning against Journey Newsom is not going to convince me otherwise on very short notice. JP buys last 3 fights. Put Marcus McGee in his shoes for these last 3 fights. Bruno Silva, Montel Jackson, Cody Durden. Which one of those 3 does Marcus McGee not get finished in? Exactly. All 3. He's
going over for sure.
And he's getting finished against Montel Jackson, even though Montel Jackson was sleeping in that fight. JP Buys has very questionable gas. Honestly, he kind of gasses out when he doesn't get the submission himself. Has not great stand-up. And Marcus McGee, I would say, has a slight advantage in the stand-up and has a major disadvantage in the grappling, in my opinion. I do think getting that rear naked choke in the last fight is going to give him some false confidence. Saw against Duz Nascimento Militia with LFA, just got overwhelmed there very quickly. And I could see him getting overwhelmed very quickly against JP Buys. He was preparing for a professional kickboxer and assed on Balls Anyos. And then he gets this on short notice. JP Buys back absolutely against the wall. He is beyond fired if he loses this fight. I think he knows that. I think he knows where he wins this fight, which is in the grappling. If it's on the feet, McGee's going to knock him out eventually. But I do think the first round, I am going to back the first round plus 285 dog in JP Buys. And he's still at plus 285 right now. And I think that line is significantly off. I think McGee should be the favorite. Sure. Slight favorite. Maybe a minus 150 range. This is ridiculous to me. Plus 285. I'm taking Buys. And of my plus 285s that I have, I think JP Buys has the better chance. So, and I do think Breeden has a very good chance. Otherwise, I wouldn't have made the bet. So maybe I'll look dumb on these two. Minus 360 on McGee makes no sense to me here. I think it's a way overcorrection from a short notice, good performance against Journey Newsom. So I got JP Buys here. I got him by first round submission because that is his most likely route to victory. But what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm going to play the square here. I'm passing for sure. I'm just going to sit back and watch this because I think this is just going to be a motherfucking mess of a fight. I don't begrudge anyone for taking a shot on JP Buys. You mentioned the cardio advantage. I think that's spot on. I do think he has a pretty direct path. If he can get McGee down, I think he has a better chance of choking him than the line indicates. I completely agree with you that the line is off. McGee should be a favorite, but not the favorite that he is. I think I don't know if McGee is a fraud, but I'm pretty sure that Journey Newsom is a fraud. So I don't rate that win. Like, I'm pretty sure I picked Journey in that fight, but that would to me was.
I picked Journey for sure.
Yeah, that to me was just kind of like Journey is just, man, I want him to be something that he's not. And I can't rate that win so high that I'll just lay fucking chalk like this on a guy like, you said it, dude, like JP Buys, he's dropped 3 in a row, but it's been like that Cody Durden lost his agent real well. I'll say that.
Yeah, exactly. It's been to all very good levels of competition.
Yeah.
Also, this is at bantamweight, which I do think will make a big difference for Buys as well.
It could help his chin, which to me is the biggest red flag for him. Is like I've seen the dude, like when it doesn't go his way and the dude's a better striker than him, he will kind of just like start to look for the exit. But this just seems to be the epitome of a dog or pass situation. So I am passing like a motherfucker.
Yeah, I took the dog and the line stayed where it's at, which it is what it is. But yeah, these are inflated lines, and I need to get one. If I get Breeden or I get JP, I have a pretty easy night ahead of me. If I get both of them, I have beyond an easy night. And if I don't get either one, I'm not really too heavily invested in either one because of the prices they were at. So I felt it was a good spot. And this card's just terrible. So
I agree. I think those are both good bets. Like even like.
If I'm missing both, I don't regret it. Especially if because if Breeden goes out and he gets embarrassed and like submitted in 2 minutes or knocked out in 2 minutes, I'm like, okay.
Because of the number, you didn't have to bet as much to get, a decent return,
Yeah, and it's such a huge number. It's almost plus 300 on 2. You just don't see that. And then this fight again, Josh Fremd is like over minus 300. He's unbettable. Do I think he's going to win this fight? Yeah, I do think he's going to win this fight. He impressed me against SD Dumas quite a bit, but I think that Jamie Pickett, just kind of puts himself in positions where he gets finished. I think whether it's a part of his defense or mentally or he just kind of lacks the chin and the toughness at this point. Either way, I think that Josh Fremd ends up putting him away. I think he puts him away with the strikes. Josh Fremd has pretty good volume, pretty good pressure. And against a guy like Jamie Pickett, I just think that Josh Fremd wins. Not at the price he's at, though. I don't like this price at all. So besides the Zhang Li, I have nothing to do with Josh Fremd in this fight as of now. But I do think he gets the finish.
It's funny, dude. I had considered maybe betting Pickett just at the number. And then I just thought better of it. I do think Fremd is the side. I would like. I'm not going to bet Fremd personally. If he's in the Zhang Li, then I'll definitely tail that. But I do think at the number itself, I would never make like a straight money line bet on Fremd. I don't usually do those anyway. But it's definitely more of a fade on Pickett. I just.
Minus 345.
Yeah, that's getting a little gross. That's
plus 275. We almost have back plus 285 dogs. When's the last time that happened at a UFC card?
Yeah, you're starting to get into kind of like fluky territory where it's like, Pickett, he's an okay striker. I don't know, man. It's weird because Fremd is someone that like I've been looking to just like fade all the time. It's kind of bitten me. But I don't think Pickett is the one to like overturn the Josh Fremd hype train. Although I do think it's a hype train, but I will pick Fremd and just pass on it.
Yeah, I agree. We'll take Fremd minus 345. He's in the Zhang Li because I have to put 5 fighters in there.
Let's fucking go.
So Tepon Nchukwi, AJ Dobson. This is another weird fight. This card is not for parlays. 100% agree. Take your shot on the dogs you feel good about. Leave the rest of these inflated favorites alone. Hope to hit 1 of 2 or 2 of 3, whatever. But yeah, this is a good Dana White Contender Series fight right here. We're gonna see who gets a UFC contract after this fight, and it's on the main card. I don't understand why it is. To be honest. I slightly favor AJ Dobson in this fight, and it's mostly based on kind of movement and like athleticism as well as cardio, I would say. I also think he's slightly more well-rounded. He hasn't looked incredible in either one of his fights with Malkoun or Armen Petrosyan, and that's where I have some trouble because Malkoun was able to win with the takedowns. Petrosyan was able to win being more technical on the feet and more well-rounded. Even his fights before he came into the UFC, just not against good levels of competition at all. And I hadn't heard of this Hashem guy who he beat on the Contender Series, but what I did like is that he's able to mix up the grappling and the striking. I think Tefon is just kind of walks you down, throws a lot of, or tries to throw a lot of power when he's going. But I think the chin's gone since that knee in the third round against Azamat. Oberg just, kind of grazed him. And I didn't like how he responded to the strikes at all. I think that Dobson is going to be able to kind of lay it on him as well with the cardio as this fight goes. I think this could look similar to the Jun Young Park fight, which was not a majority decision. I don't know what judge caused that to be, but either way, I think they could look a lot more similar to that. I just think Dobson, more athletic, better range, better diversity of strikes. I think this could look a lot like Euros Medic and the Semmelsberger, hopefully, just with the difference in kind of the footwork and the difference in the speed. I like H.J. Dobson here, and I think he gets it done late, second or third round. And I'll say TKO.
Yeah, dude, this was another bet that I made early in the week, and it was just this bet, along with most of the bets, if not all of them that I made on this card, were just gut reads. And even the one where I tailed you on Breeden, I just felt that one in my gut too. Just nah, man.
This is one of those cards that calls for it.
Yeah, I agree, dude. You said it. You said the word, which is the main reason that I am picking AJ Dobson, and it is speed, Bo. He is going to be – Tefon is so goddamn slow when he strikes. He's powerful to be sure, but AJ is going to beat him to the punch like a mug. I think he's going to light him up. Look, Tefon, he doesn't really grapple that much. He got 3 takedowns versus Mike Rodriguez and won a fucking decision. I think AJ is the way better wrestler. I think he's the better mixed martial artist. So, yeah, I think he BMFs Tefon. And, yeah, I think there's a good chance he knocks him out, too. Getting knocked out twice in a row and then dropping, doing the big drop, too. From 2 – that's the biggest one.
20 pounds.
Going 20 pounds, y'all, from 205 to 185. That just does not –
and he's going to be at a reach disadvantage here.
He's going to be at a speed disadvantage. He's going to be at a reach disadvantage. He's going to be in that. They're both kind of low volume, but I think AJ is going to be so much quicker. I think there's a good chance he probably knocks him out late. Definitely decision, though. I just think AJ's the side.
I got him at plus 120. He stayed at plus 120.
I snagged him at plus 125, so I feel good about that. I barely beat just the ever so slightest of line movements.
Congratulations.
I wish I caught that Breeden at plus 285. That's a nice one, man. But
yeah, hopefully it hits. But minus 142 on Tefon. I don't know who would be betting that. So congratulations. This next fight, I got no interest in any of the women's fights this weekend from a betting perspective. Yasmin Lucindo, she's fun to watch, I guess. She's fought a pretty low level of competition in her first couple fights. Honestly, she's 21 years old, facing a 31-year-old in Polion Vienna. Vienna does not like getting hit too much. She doesn't like the pressure. But Brogan Walker was able to kind of withstand it, even though she took 100 strikes in that fight. Went to war with Yasmin Uruguay, which we don't know how good Yasmin is anymore after seeing how she looked in her last fight. And then Polion Vienna, she got a quick knockout Jinyu Frey last November, and then had 2 fights with Emily Ducati called off. Tabitha Ricci was able to beat her, basically using her, just out grappling her. And I think Yasmin, might try to grapple as this fight goes, but Yasmin also can get held against the fence, get stalled, get exhausted. I think I got Viana in this spot. I'm not betting it, but I think Viana's probably going to be able to kind of manage the wild boxing, pressure style of Yasmin and get it to a clinch cage type of battle, get it down to the ground. Possibility at even the submission as it goes on too, because Yasmin does look like she really does slow down as the fight and starts to, become more open for that. And I believe she's been submitted 3 times in her career as well. So Viana should have an advantage there. I like Viana, and I like her to get a submission late, but I don't like her enough to bet her. And I don't know why Yasmin Lucindo is almost minus 200.
I agree, dude. I'm on the same side, and I actually did bet Poliana. I got her at plus 155. Just another one. Just chalk it up to like this is my gut instinct just tells me that like she's gonna upset this chick. Now, a lot of people are gonna look at this and they're gonna look at Poliana's record and they're gonna be like, oh, she lost to Hannah Cyphers and just immediately be on Lucindo. And I can't really push back on that because Hannah Cyphers is a fucking jabroni, and that's a terrible loss. I don't think that JJ Aldridge's loss is as bad as some people try and make it out to be. She honestly, man, she might have kind of got robbed there. Like she outstruck JJ and like got a takedown. I don't know, man. That's what I'd have to go back and watch it. I would never do that though. But I'm taking her just for having more experience. Like I know Lucindo is young. She's like one of the youngest fighters on the roster. She can be improving fight to fight. So I won't be totally stunned if she squeaks one out. But, man, she's been armbarred a couple times before. That's kind of Poliana's bread and butter. And, yes, like, she doesn't like getting hit, but when she's she's not a bad hammer at all. Like, I don't rate the Jin Yu Fry knockout that much because I think Jin is kind of a jabroni too. But, like, I don't think that Lucindo should be this much of a favorite. Again, I don't necessarily think the line is too far off, but it's off enough for me to take a stab on Poliana with the experience, with the striking, and kind of being really good at what has been one of Lucindo's like weaknesses in the past. So yeah, give me Viana at plus 155. Let's fucking go.
Plus 165. Maybe I will bet it, and it will be another dog on the card, but not bet yet. But minus 200 on Lucindo. Who are you people? Who are you people? Next fight. I mentioned I had 2 parlay pieces on my board. I am that square who's parlaying Roundtree and Boudet for just over even money because it's just the right answer and there's not much else to do. So it is where a significant amount of my bet is going for the weekend. Roundtree, we don't know what Roundtree is going to show up. He's Jekyll and Hyde. He's had fights like the Prakniel fight where he's just not thrown, and if he threw, he would have knocked him out 4 times. And then there's Chris Dawkins, who's been knocked out before his UFC career by some scrubs, and in his career, I won't say by some scrubs, but he's been knocked out in his career quite a few times now. He's 12-6 overall, making the drop down to 205, and that's after getting knocked out by Rosenstruck in 23 seconds. Getting knocked out by Curtis Blades in round 2. Getting knocked out by Derek Lewis. That's a lot of damage, boss. Even against Shamil Abdurakhimov, he's taken some strikes in that. He also was knocked out by Azuna Anyowanu in round 2 of the CFFC. So he's been knocked out 4 times in his career. He's making a drop for the first time in his career. He was out of the fight originally because of an injury. What am I missing here? I'm sorry, but Chris Dawkins doesn't fight power strikers well. Khalil Roundtree needs to power strike here, and he will have plenty of opportunities to do so. Khalil Roundtree is the younger guy, more experienced in the weight class, hits way harder. Like, what am I missing here? Like, Dawkins is dead here to me, and money has come in on Dawkins. So that sharp money, whatever, they maybe know something I don't, but I might be betting Khalil Roundtree again. Now he's at minus 180. I bet him no problem at minus 205.
Minus 180?
Yep.
Good gosh almighty. Man, it must be some kind of, I'll tell you what, I don't know this to be true, but this wouldn't surprise me. There is a lot of Chris Dawkins love and just Dawkins brother love in general that exists in the community. People can deny it all they want, but like, people have been riding with these dudes like since before they got in the UFC, both of them. And but like you touched on everything that I would say, like, and even like Dawkins, where Khalil has looked like Jekyll and Hyde, where he's looked like the Henry Jekyll version of it, where he's kind of like just stands there and stares. Dawkins doesn't really fight like that. Like Dawkins is an aggressive boxer, and he likes to, when he gets hit, he likes to try and get it back. I just think that he is like gonna give Khalil like a very easy path to victory. Like it just seems like the perfect combination for Khalil to get KO. Dude, seriously, like he's fighting a dude that's probably gonna be, I don't know what this
cutting to 205 for the first time, I believe, in his career.
Dodgy chin, likes to get in wars, likes to trade. That is like where Khalil comes alive when you give him the fight that he wants. I think where he turns into like kind of like a deer in the headlights is when he's fighting a guy like Prachniow that doesn't really want to fight him, and then you chase after him, and then all of a sudden he's point fighting you. So yeah, I think Dawkins is gonna go down there, gonna go out there and go out in the shield.
Yeah, minus 180. The under 1.5 is at minus 175. So you're expecting us to get done early, and I'm a little confused here,
dude. I was tempted to parlay him when he was at minus 190, minus 180. Oh yeah, that's.
I already parlayed him at minus 205.
That ain't bad either, honestly. Like
it is what it is. I'm gonna. He'll be in the Zhang Li parlay. You damn sure know that. And yeah, on a card. This is how bad this card is, though. On a card, he's probably my favorite on the card. That's how bad this card is. So, like, there's if he loses, am I shocked? Not at all. Like, that's just what this card is. This is our co-main event in 2023. A nearly 40-year-old Cub Swanson who quit from leg kicks in his last fight. Quit like 3 different times from the leg kicks from Jonathan Martinez before they finally stopped it. Going against Hakeem Dawodu. I checked. Hakeem Dawodu does throw leg kicks. So that's checked off there. Hakeem Dawodu is about 7 years younger, so he is still 32 years old, but definitely the much younger guy. I think that he kind of lacks the meanness and aggressiveness that makes me a little bit concerned if he's going to be able to finish a guy like Cub Swanson. But, I mean, he should win a decision, but if Cub Swanson comes out here and ekes one out or even gets a finish with, has good hands, has good power, his boxing can get really crisp when he gets some good momentum. Wouldn't surprise me if he knocked out Hakeem Dawodu, honestly. So my pick's going to be Dawodu by decision. It's as square as it possibly can get. But Cub Swanson's alive. I'm not betting him, but I'm not betting Dawodu at all. So I got I got Dawodu by decision.
Yeah, I pretty much feel the same way. Like I feel like Dawodu is the side. It's another case where I feel like speed's going to kind of kill. Cub is not like, he's still serviceable and he still like looks good and has moments in fights. But man, if he's like, it just depends on how Cub fights. Like there's been Cub fights where he'll like put up crazy numbers. And then there's some where he's just like, I don't know. I mean, the fights that he's low volume, he's usually getting knocked out. It wouldn't surprise me actually if Hakeem knocked him out. I know he doesn't have like any like knockout finishes in the UFC, but it's another situation kind of like Dawkins Roundtree where I think like Cub might give him the fight that he wants, where like Hakeem is point fighting on the back foot, but Cub is just marching forward and walking into shit. Like Cub does have good boxing. He can get crispy with it. He's pretty tough, but like when he's the nail recently, it has looked like his durability is like starting to maybe, it was never really the best, but it's like, it's definitely not what it was.
I think that leg kick finish was really bad against.
Yeah. Hakeem does lean into those leg kicks too. So I think Dawodu's the side, but it like, I thought about betting Swanson too. So I don't hate that. I feel like it's kind of a dog or pass situation. But I'll just say Hakeem.
Yep, fair enough there. Minus 225 on Hakeem, plus 185 on Swanson, the Derek Lewis number. I always will refer to that as main event time. Rafael Dos Anjos, Vicente Lucque. I'm just going to say right off the bat, the brain bleeds of Vicente Lucque. Hard to get past. And I think that although Dos Anjos has been knocked out more in his career, I get that. The type of knockouts he's getting are much more, I don't know how to put it, professional knockout, like the one against Rafael Fiziev. It was at the beginning of the 5th round, and like I don't know if it was stopped early or not, but it stopped him from taking further punishment. And it was an extremely competitive fight at 155. And then moved up to 170, faced a bigger guy in Barberena, looked perfectly fine there and using his grappling to put away Barberena. Obviously, Luque is better than Barberena, but it's just these fights that Luque's been in. The Nico Price fight, no reason to take the amount of damage he did to win that fight. He had to go through so much, and it's just like, it's again, mileage keeps ticking once it starts. The Stephen Thompson fight, he ran everything. Mike Perry, war, because the guy doesn't move his head ever. He just goes to war. With Brian Barberena back in the day, it took him till the end of the third round, and he was beating him up in that fight, but it was a little bit of a war early on. Took a lot of damage against Randy Brown. Then he starts getting these first-round finishes against not great guys, but it is what it is, in Woodley and Chiesa. And then just gets outworked by Muhammad. It is what it is. In the Jeff Neal fight, though, he is getting absolutely pieced up in the first round. Second round, he comes back and makes it a fight, but it's still taking a lot of damage. Third round, there's a shot early on where he takes it, shakes his head, and then he goes against the fence where he takes another 10 uppercuts and 15 more shots before, as the announcer's going, how much more can he take? He face plants head first directly into the canvas and takes, I get it. It's been a year and a half plus since he fought that fight, but that mileage doesn't go away, man. And he has a diagnosed brain bleed that should have had him stop from fighting. I don't care what quack doctors he's able to find that get him agreed to fight. I think that he's going against another southpaw in Dos Anjos, where he's shown a propensity to get hit with shots coming straight down the shot. Dos Anjos has very straight strikes. At 170, he's dealt with bigger guys throughout his career. I don't think that's an issue. I think the club and sub could be live here, or just the club. But either way, Dos Anjos, I get it. He's getting close to the end of his career. Luque should already be done with his career. So that's where I'm at with this one. And I like Dos Anjos. I put Dos Anjos in, I bet him a little bit on his own at minus 115, minus 120, actually. And that's where he's at right now. Even money on Luque. If you take out all the brain bleeds and you take out the absolute, medical diagnosis of that, maybe I'm thinking about this more. There's a 7-year age difference, but either way, I just think that Dos Anjos is the better MMA fighter as well, and I think that Luque is going to get sparked again, and I think he's going to be put out again, honestly. I agree with Moise here, plus 300. I agree. Luque has a serious diagnosis and shouldn't be fighting.
Well, we made it. We made it to the main event, and this is where we are going to disagree the most profoundly. So listen up, everyone, because this one's for the people, man. This one's going to be entertainment for the people. So I am actually on the complete opposite side. I completely disagree. I think that way too much is being made about these brain bleeds. You can say whatever you want, but yeah, your argument stands true for RDA too. Damage does accumulate, and the motherfucker's been chin checked 4 times. When he got knocked out by Fiziev, that was 2 weeks before the Neal fight. I can't the brain
He's
bleed.
been through less damage in his 46 fights than Luque has in his 37.
I disagree with that. RDA is taking some fucking beatings, dude. He has.
Look at Luque's fights. In his wins, he takes too much damage.
I agree. I agree with the things about Luque. I agree that the brain bleed is concerning. I do. But RDA's old. He's chinny. And you realize that if he knocks out Luque or even drops him, it would literally be the first fucking knockdown that motherfucker has ever recorded at welterweight. Ever. He ain't the same dude at welterweight as he is at lightweight. He never has been. If you go back and look at some of the fucking footage leading up to this, the training footage, he is another dude that looks really slow. Vicente Lucque is going to put RDA into a fucking box this weekend, dude. He is going to knock RDA out in the second or third round. Vicente Lucque all day. Look, if it weren't for the brain bleed, would any of y'all really fucking be that confident in RDA? This ain't Barberena.
This ain't Barberina, dude. This is the dude that knocked prime Barberina out. Did y'all see how Barberina looked against Lawler? And like he didn't look good.
He eventually knocked him out, and I'm just saying it don't go back. That's such a big.
It doesn't go back for RDA either, though. That's what I'm saying.
RDA's brain's not bleeding.
Okay, you think he wouldn't have got knocked out by Jeff Neal too? You really think RDA would hang up with Jeff Neal?
But he didn't. I think he would just take Jeff Neal down and grind him out. Be smart.
He got knocked out. Like
Lucque is a big tough guy.
He is. He's a big tough guy. Look,
and he can afford to be against Dos Anjos, is what you're saying here. That's fair.
Yes, RDA ain't that dude at 38 at welterweight. He just ain't.
Fair. Okay.
And I think it's this love affair with RDA that has people backing him so hard. It's a combination of this. RDA has a loyal and deserved fan following. I respect the shit out of RDA, but I've seen this happen before where people were picking RDA against Fiziev. They just love the motherfucker. And it's over, boys. Vicente Lucque is gonna bury this motherfucker. And I got money on it too.
Lucque, what's Lucque's best win?
Bilal Muhammad.
He lost. He beat Bilal Muhammad back in the. Oh my god!
Knocking Bilal Muhammad out.
Yeah. So knocking Bilal Muhammad before Bilal Muhammad was Bilal Muhammad. Back when Alan Joban was beating Bilal.
Well,
Muhammad.
Isn't that just convenient?
It is. Time and place plays a factor in when you fight somebody. Are you kidding me?
I know. That's what I'm saying. RDA got knocked out around the same time as Lucque, and people think that he's all of a sudden going to be that much more durable.
He's already fought again since then.
Lucque's against a dude that ended up getting knocked out by Lucque, and he's 38. He's my age. Like he's gonna get knocked out. That's what I think. But if he doesn't, hey, I'll look stupid, and y'all will all be geniuses.
Pre-steroid Bilal was a bum. Correct.
The RDA love affair will continue, and I'll look stupid, and everybody wins.
Yeah, I didn't know I was a huge RDA fan. That's news to me, but fair enough. You're in luck because for the Zhongli parlay, you'll be able to hedge because RDA is making it. Sick. So works for me, works for you. The Zhongli parlay is plus 1,100 this week, so it's a little bit smaller. I did not include any of my big dogs on the card just because I didn't think that they quite belong there, but they're just out of there. So we obviously have the Booty Man, Martin Booty. And then we've got a lot of main card action once again here. Last week it almost worked out, but either way, this week I did include Josh Fremd. I included AJ Dobson, included Khalil Roundtree, and Rafael Dos Anjos. So only one dog on the Zhongli parlay this week, which is not a good recipe for a card like this, but it's the five that I think. So again, Martin Booty, Josh Fremd, AJ Dobson, Khalil Roundtree, and Rafael Dos Anjos. I'm putting 20 down right on it right now. Pays out 250 about. You can do whatever you want, but yeah. Bet is placed plus 1101 is the odds I got it at if you want to put it in right now, the Zhongli parlay. But any thoughts on the remaining part of this card for you before we take off? Just my 2 cents.
No, man, I love the Zhongli this week. It is a wonderful hedge spot for the main event. It's always sketchy betting main events, I feel, especially in the year we're living in. But nah, man, dude, thank you so much for having me on again. This was a great time as always. I love that we're juxtaposing the main event. It'll keep it spicy. But dude, we're aligned on a lot of these other fights that both of us have bet. So I do feel good about that, especially considering last week. So I'm feeling good about this week. Best of luck to you and everyone in the chat. I will be back on my channel Friday to do the weigh-ins, but it may not be. I might start like midway through because I'm kind of running out of time on my free plan on StreamYard. But, dude, thanks again. Best of luck to you and everyone else. And let's fucking go, man.
Yep. Appreciate it, man. And we'll be back next week with another card, which...
Oh, yeah. Sorry, not to cut you off.
Yeah.
Man, everybody smash the like button and subscribe to Aaron's channel if you're not already. Aaron should already be over 1,000. So I'm going to do everything I can to
to help you get to that, my dude. So, dude, thanks again for having me. And yeah, man, make sure y'all smash the like, subscribe to Aaron's channel, and get him to 1K, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It is what it is. 775 I'm happy with. I know that everybody here wants to be here, and that's what I always want. I don't want to just be subscribed because of no reason. So everybody here has a reason why they subscribed, and I appreciate the reason why you subscribe. So either way, I'll be back next week. I'm not going to be covering this Bellator card. I'll try to put together the 17 picks that are somewhat sentient and put into the community tab. Anytime I have those picks in the community tab, it's before the event. So those ones from the Contenders series, I'll at least put those up before the fights. And appreciate everything. And good luck, everybody, this weekend. I'll see you next week. Peace out.